My name is Drew Port. I was a new grad and came to Boulder trying to figure out where I was going to end up, and was church hopping, kind of feeling out the different opportunities in the area. This was back when we were at Casey Middle, and I remember after service at the well, a couple guys grabbed me and said, "Hey, let's go hike Green Mountain." And so, right off the bat, just super welcoming group, and we went and hiked, and I really felt the Lord telling me, hey, this is where you're going to build community. This is going to be, where you find your people and where you're going to plant some roots. So I moved to Boulder primarily for career. However, it was definitely a prayerful move in that I didn't really know where I wanted to go, and I knew that I loved the mountains and the outdoors, and I put it out before God to say, hey, where will you have me? I don't want to go anywhere that you don't go before me first. So I've been serving on the welcome team for close to probably 1.5 or 2 years now. On a day-to-day Sunday, what that really looks like now here at Rayback, where we're at, is just getting to have more of a communal and social vibe where really I've found it neat to be able to connect with people and have those conversations that in our day-to-day lives folks might be breezing from one thing to the next, but here they have an opportunity to rest, to be in community, and to be filled up. I got plugged in right off the bat in the South Boulder MC, and for the last 2.5 years, really through thick and thin, through virtual church and COVID, whatever the world has thrown at us, we've been just a consistent group. When thinking about how God has been at work in my life broadly, what I'm drawn to is this idea of just planting roots. And I think it aligns actually really well with how our church is currently seeking out a building, a space. For me, one of the ways that I felt called to get involved with the well was by contributing through By Any Means. Just like I felt God has been calling me to plant roots in Boulder in order to allow me to serve our community, to be gracious with resources and host and give back to the community. Something that God has been forming in me and working in me to understand is, I don't always need to understand what He's doing, what His timing is, but I can be consistent and I can be faithful in what I'm doing. So one of the difficulties that I've encountered is that question of, well, is this where God has me deploying my resources most effectively? I think turning that question over to God, saying, hey, I trust you as the ultimate investor, is something that has been really sweet and comforting to me and allowed me to really fight off the temptations to stray from commitment. My decision to increase giving was kind of twofold. It was one, a recommitment, a really firm planting of a stake in the ground, saying, hey, I believe in the direction that this is heading, and I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. But it was also a transition from support of communities that I'm really no longer walking day to day with, and felt like the Lord was calling me to say, hey, here are the people that you're spending your evenings with. Here are the people who you're eating dinner with and laughing with and crying with. This is where I have you walking. When, as a church, our leadership came to us as a body and said, hey, we've got this building and we've got a long way to go to get there, and we need people to step up and fill that need. That is something that prompted me to go into prayer and ask, okay, is that my role? Is that something that God is asking me to step into? If you're considering increasing giving, I would encourage you to not shy away from stepping into that need, and trusting that at the end of the day, God is going to deploy these resources in a way that we wouldn't even believe if we were told. If somebody is sitting here listening to this video, God is doing a work in their life. They're here for a reason, sitting amongst community to their left and right now. And I guess I would ask to consider what your role in that community is. But I think part of our faithful walk as Christians is recognizing that these are not our resources, they're God's. And how can we bless others, and how can we be a part of this body and use those resources to worship Him?